Hello, everyone. I want to thank you for joining us this morning. And by us, I mean me and Debbie. We're going to be teaching slash sharing some information on gut health, especially as we enter the holiday season and we're really just focused on targeted support in certain areas. And so in this 3-week series that we've been doing, last week we talked about emotions. This week we're talking about gut, and next week we're talking about skin. Because if you're like us, that's where stress can show up. This time of year, our bandwidth gets a little bit smaller, so our emotions can be a little bit more tender. And then stress acts up, and we can see it on our face. But you know what? All that, honestly, all disease begins in the gut. And that goes back to when Hippocrates, if I'm saying that right, he said that, a gazillion million years ago, okay, like 2,000 years ago, people, but you know what I'm saying. And so gut health is serious. Like, taking care of our gut is a big deal. And so as Debbie and I were preparing for this class, we're gonna, because it's so, gut health is, it's just bigger than a 30-minute class. So this is to get, just kind of whet our appetite, no pun intended, again, but just to get us thinking about, like, what areas do we need to work on? We're both going to share a personal testimony. We're going to give you some information about gut health, and then we're going to have a fun activity that we can do together if you are up for that. Before I get started, though, I do want to point out that we are not medical experts. What we are experts on is really having a heart for serving others. And so we cannot treat, diagnose, nor cure. We are simply here sharing our stories and our testimonies. All right. Okay, so again, welcome to the class, and we appreciate your time this morning. So here's the deal with gut health. Okay, I may have said this, but we are also not just, with this 3-week series, it's not just targeted support for your emotions, your gut, and your skin, but doing so all naturally. Because using other products and such can actually bring other problems on that you may not be aware of. That's not what we're going to get into for this class, but I did want you thinking about that. And so, okay, going into the fun part of the class, and that is a question that you need to be asking yourselves, and that is, what are the signs of an unhealthy gut, right? Like, what are the signs of an unhealthy gut? Well, here are some common signs of an unhealthy gut. And in this, when we're using gut, I'm not just using stomach, I'm also using the intestines. I'm using, like, the digestive system. I'm just using gut to be quick, if you will. Okay, so weight gain, increased stress, skin irritation, bloating and gas, diarrhea, constipation, sleep problems, sugar cravings, which and bad breath. And that's just naming a few. And so then Debbie's going to talk about, all right, so what are we going to do about it? So this is where I'm going to pop in my testimony. Now, you may be thinking, Amy, I don't, that's all great, but I don't have issues with really any of those. And if you don't, that's great. I'm like, yay. It may be something that you've had an issue with, or maybe a friend has had an issue with. And I'm not saying go treat or diagnose them, but I mean, it's always nice. I mean, we're women and we like to help other people, and knowledge is power. So I want to talk, because I'm saying that because I'm getting ready to give you a gut testimony that has to do with my nose. And that is this. I was back in 2006. I was changing the wallpaper in my bedroom. And I took all the wallpaper down. And then I noticed over a course of a few days and weeks that I just wasn't doing well. And my doctor's like, well, you probably inhaled a lot of wallpaper dust, because I wasn't wearing any gear. And because I was like, I don't know. I was like, oh, okay. And I was having problems, and I was having problems for about a year and a half. And we were like in that allergic reaction. Like I was starting to be really sensitive to a lot of different things, the seasons changing and things I hadn't had before, because we think that my body was just really attacked by that wallpaper dust and just really compromised my immune system. And so my doctor wanted to put me on a nasal steroid, but I was like, steroids, I've heard that you can get addicted to them. And I was like, I don't want to go that route. And so I said, no. And then finally, like I said, about a year and a half of people thinking I had a cold 24/7, because I was just always stuffed up and sucking on cough drops. I said, I will do the nasal steroid. I will do it. And so my one victory in that is that with the nasal steroid, every morning you would do 2 inhales on one nostril and 2 on the other. And I only did 1 because I only needed to do 1, and I got relief. And so my doctor's like, hey, if that works for you, that's great. And so for the next 10 years, that's what I did. I was on nasal steroids. And they cost a lot. I'm just saying. It's like, yeah. So anyway, so fast forward to 2017, the fall of 2017. So 4 years ago, a bunch of us who are with Young Living and other people, we were like, let's do this 5-day nutritive cleanse that Young Living has designed using these 3 different products, and just do this cleanse together. Because you know what, obviously first of all, there's such power and accountability in doing exercise or a cleanse or a goal with other people. And so I was like, I never want to be left out. Doing a cleanse wasn't on my radar at all. But I was like, I don't want to be left out. So I'm like, yeah, I will do this cleanse. So I started this cleanse in August of 2017. By the 3rd day, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't think I need to use my nasal steroid. I was like, I could actually breathe without it. And then, so like after 5 days, I'm like, I could just tell I was feeling better. My cravings weren't, like, now that being said, the 2nd day of the cleanse, I wanted all the ice cream. That's my go-to. I wanted all the ice cream. So full disclosure, but by like day 4 and 5, I was like, I'm feeling really good. I can actually breathe, and I'm just feeling better. I felt it in my joints. And so I was like, okay, that's great for these 5 days. What am I going to do for day 6? I will pause that because I want to keep talking about this particular testimony. So this is August, and I was still using my nasal steroid. I wasn't opposed to it, but October came around. It was the beginning of October. I was actually out of town with my family, and I was like, I'm out of nasal steroid, but I'm like, I wonder if I hadn't been using it every day. I was using it maybe every 2, 3, 4 days. And that was in the fall with the season changes. And I thought, I just won't buy it this next time. See how long I can go without using my nasal steroid. I still haven't fulfilled that prescription, and it's been 4 years. So I am completely off nasal steroids. And so I was able to just really support my nose, and which is really my respiratory system, right? I mean, the nose is like one thing, but it's a part of a whole system, by cleaning out my gut. And it's like, I've learned a lot since then that, some of the skinnier, okay, this is just my experience. I, again, am not a medical professional, so this is my experience. But, when we think you see a skin irritation or your nose is having problems, it's like, how's your gut? Like, how is your gut doing? So on this list that I gave about weight loss and skin irritation and diarrhea, it's not like that is it. That was just from one of my research that I did, like one area of my research. But I'm like, I was able to get off nasal steroid. I can breathe. And it's from cleaning out my gut 4 years ago. Now, that being said, I still use those products from that cleanse on a regular basis. I'm not saying a daily basis, and I'm not saying I'm cleansing every day or every week or every month, because that would not be wise, but I'm using those same products to help my body with digesting foods, and that's enzymes, and Debbie's going to talk a little bit about enzymes. So that is my testimony about gut health. So I'm going to kick this over to Miss Debbie, and I can't wait to hear from her and all what she has to share with us.
Thank you so much, Amy. I love that testimony. That is just so great to realize that we don't think about our respiratory system being affected by our gut, but it is. And so we just need to remember that. And while gut health isn't always something that we, it's not a fun topic necessarily to talk about, but we're hearing a lot about it now on TV and commercials. And, as you scroll through social media, the little ads that pop up, there's all kinds of stuff about gut health. And so we're starting to realize, I think, as a society, that a lot of our issues start in our gut. And in my lifetime, I have watched as a child, we ate at home and we ate whole foods, and that was all we ate. Yeah, there were potato chips and stuff, but they weren't, and soda pop, but they weren't part of our everyday diet. They were special treats. And so I went from that to going into the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, where processed foods started coming out, and it was convenient and it made life so much easier for the housewife and not good on our guts. And so I have watched, and then now we're coming back to we've gone full circle. And people are starting to realize we need to eat whole foods. We need to clean up our guts. And we as a society have paid the price, I believe, in our health, because we've not had a good, healthy gut. So there are four legs. I like to think Amy and I were in a class one time, and we both heard about the speaker said that supporting your gut was a lot like a table. You have to have 4 legs to support your table. And those 4 legs that she said were antioxidants, enzymes, probiotics, and a fish oil. And those 4 things I have found for my system have been extremely beneficial. One of the things that has done real well for me was I started suffering because of all the convenient fast foods and processed foods I was eating because of my lifestyle, which was running around like a crazy person because I thought I could do it all. And I did try to do it all. My body suffered. One of the things I suffered with was major indigestion / heartburn, depending on what it was. Through the research, I have found that our different body enzymes. So one of the 4 table legs was an enzyme, and I found that I was getting heartburn and indigestion almost all the time. I would eat and I would get it. And so through the research, I started using an enzyme. I started using Young Living's Essential Zyme was what I started with. I have used all of 4. They have 4 different enzymes. I have used them all. They work on different things, helping break down different things, but it doesn't really matter which enzyme you use. You just need an enzyme in your body, because as we age, our body doesn't make those enzymes as much. All the processed foods we eat actually kill some of the stuff, help our body. Our bodies don't produce the enzymes they're supposed to. So I started with Essential Zyme, loved it. I started carrying Essential Zyme 4 in my purse with me, because inevitably I'd be at like a church function and we'd have to stay after for a meeting, and they always order pizza, right? And because they're feeding large groups, it was the cheapest pizza they could find, which was made with cheap processed products. My gut paid for it. On the way home, I'd be dying, doubling over in pain. It hurt so bad. So I carried Essential Zyme 4 with me because it was in the packs where I could just pop them out. And so I carried those with me. That helped. Within 20 minutes, I could tell my gut was feeling better. So that's how enzymes help our gut. Our stomach, that actually helps our stomach. They do go down into our intestines as well, and help break down the food down in there. And I've had good results with that when I've had some issues recently that were more down in my intestines because I was feeling the pain around my belly button. Nothing there but your intestines. So the enzymes, especially essential sign 4, was able to help with that pain. So that's just my experience. But like I said, my husband takes Detoxzyme for his. So everybody's a little different. You need to figure out which one works best for you. They work for different things. All of us are different. So yeah, that helps that. Another leg was the Omega Gize, a fish oil. I use Omega Gize for that. It has been out of stock recently, and they always say that you don't know how well a supplement is working for you till you don't use it anymore. Oh my goodness, you guys. I just want to say my joints have paid for it. Now, that's only one of the few things that a fish oil will help with. It helps heart, it helps with your mood, it helps inflammation, joint inflammation, it helps brain function, but where I noticed it was in my joints. And so I could have taken another supplement, another fish oil supplement. I didn't. I chose not to. I'm feeling it in my joints right now. And I just came back in stock and I'm so ready to get mine. So yeah, joint pain with the fish oil, definitely a major thing. The other thing is it helps brain function. Probably something I need right now. So I will definitely be looking forward to getting back to that. I have noticed not having the fish oil, the Omega Gize, that Omega Gize, I've heard it pronounced both ways. I noticed that it is my brain function. You get a little more forgetful. You get, you forget just things like that, the cognitive ability of the brain. I have used other things to try to help supplement that, but those are the things that I have found that have really helped me. So the enzymes for my digestion, for my respiration, for muscle, and for nerve function, those enzymes are essential for all those areas. And then the fish oil helps heart, mood, it's an anti-inflammatory, helps brain function, and it can also help weight management. So I hope that helps you all and helps with understanding how the gut works. Back to you, Amy. I think I'm done.
Awesome. Thanks, Debbie. I didn't thank you for sharing that about Omega Gize. I like how you pronounce it, Omega Gize. You know what, regardless, it's all good. Tomato. But I've been using Omega Gize for almost a year now, to help with my brain health, just because of what I'm dealing with, and that is recovering from a brain injury. But the fact that you're talking that it's helping your joints, I was like, that's huge, because I know we have products that are geared for to help our joints. Gize is one of them. So I love the fact that where we think, okay, well, I'm using Omega Gize to help my brain, because they always say use the fish oils up in your brain because it's great, but it has other things that's doing for your body. I like that side effect. I remember years ago, we're talking 2005, 2006, when I was getting ready for work one day when I was going in my job in corporate. And I listened to a country station and they were talking about shift work, because, shift work is, first, second, third shift. Second shift is what, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. And then third shift is 11 p.m. to like 7 a.m. I mean, that's just awful. And it takes a toll on your body. And so there was an ad out for this prescription for shift work. They're like, you have trouble sleeping due to shift work. And they're like, it was really sounded wonderful. And then they're like, now here are the side effects. Like we hear it a lot of times with drugs, prescription drugs that we hear or see on the TV. There's a lot of prescription drugs shown on TV. I don't watch a lot of network TV, but when I'm home and I'm at my with family and I'm watching football, and I'm like, well, there are a lot of drug ads, and then they have these millions of side effects. So going back to the shift work, they're like side effects. I mean, they were rough side effects. I don't remember every single one. One was something like, I don't know, bleeding kidneys or bleeding intestines. I mean, it was something that was, one of your organs was bleeding. And I'm like, but then they're like, insomnia. I was like, wait a minute. You're taking a drug to help you sleep. And one of the side effects is insomnia. So I sound judgmental, but it was really more of just shock. And so that is, just keep that in mind. I mean, read the side effects. Hey, and I'm not opposed to prescription drugs. When I had my brain injury, I fell in October 2020, and the doctors gave me prescription drugs, and I looked at the side effects. And the one side effect, because it had to do with dizziness, it was a anti-dizziness, anti-nausea, it says it can affect your eyes. And I was like, well, no wonder why my eyes have been hurting. Now, did I stop putting the patch behind my ear? No. Because I was obviously in somewhat of critical mode. Instead, I upped Ninja Red, which is one of the antioxidant portion of that 4 legs that Debbie was talking to you about. And it has targeted support, one of which is eye health, even though it is geared for overall health. And then I actually started taking Illuminize, which is one of our supplements. And I noticed within about a week of taking Illuminize that my eyes weren't sore. Because there was a couple things it did to your eyes. And I thought, okay, I need the patch right now because I was nauseous from the head pain. I just made other accommodations. So what does it have to do with the gut? I don't know. I'm just sharing in the context of that, prescription drugs have their place, but just be mindful. If you've got choices where you can make all natural choices, then you know what? The side effect of Amy.Gize, which I know is brain health, is your joints can feel better. Now that's Debbie's testimony. It may or may not be ours, but I'm like, I'll take that potential side effect. So that's the posture in which I kind of went down that rabbit trail. Okay, so realizing that some of you may be on your phones, it's all good. I put some links and some information over in the notes section. There is a way to save that information, but please know that links or anything that I've shared over there, I'm going to be providing to you all electronically, as well as in future correspondence, as well as if you're watching this, depending on where you're watching this, it could be in the video descriptor for you all that are going to be watching this later. But one of the things I have on there is the overview to what Debbie was sharing about the 4 legs. It's about that building your foundation of health and wellness in regards to antioxidants, probiotics, enzymes, and omega/fish oils. And it lists those products that Debbie was talking about. Realizing we have 5, I was going to say 4, but we have 5, including the kids version, the Amy.Gize. We have 5 different enzymes. And we actually have 2 probiotics, one for the kids and one's for the adults. I have both of them on stock because the Mighty Pro for the kids, it's really tasty. Anyway, I totally digress. Focus, Amy. Wait a minute, just a second. Let me focus, because we're about ready to wrap this up. So again, appreciate everybody's time. Now, I said they had an activity. It's not a group activity like a icebreaker, but it is something more important. And that is, so Debbie and I have talked about, building your foundation of health and wellness, about the fact that gut health is so important. I shared my testimony about the cleanse that I did. I know Debbie's done the cleanse as well. And I know, where she didn't talk about any of those testimonies, I know that she's had testimonies from the cleanse. And so what I want to encourage you all is to think about doing the 5-day cleanse with us. You can do this cleanse 4 times a year. And Debbie and I were talking earlier this week, and we popped on this Zoom earlier to talk about it some more, to kind of challenge each other. And we're going to do the 5-day cleanse coming up. We want to do it before Christmas. well, hello, we're not going to do it before Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving's in 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. But we're going to do it right after Thanksgiving. We're going to do it the first week of December, the first full week of December. And so that is December 6th. Yes, Monday, December the 6th. We are going to do this 5-day gentle cleanse. I will, let me real quick. So I apologize for you that are watching the recording of this, that you are having to wait for just a moment while I pop the link into the notes, but I appreciate your being patient with me. Of course, you're like, what else can you do? I put the link in the notes for you guys, but this 5-day cleanse consists of 4 products. That guide that I gave you goes over the steps of the cleanse, okay? And then it gives you a link to buy the product. Now, I want to point out, it's pretty straightforward. Here's the cleanse. For 5 days, 3 times a day, morning, noon, and evening, you do a protein shake. Now, you take some supplements before the protein shake, you get a drink the fabulous Ningxia Red after the protein shake, and you can sprinkle in snacks if you want. And so I do sprinkle in snacks, but I noticed by like day 4 and day 5, I don't need to snack like I did on day 1. I have to admit, day 1, I did all the snacking I could. But by day 5, I'm like, I'm good. So just listen to your body on that. But the first item is the Ningxia Red. This is one, if I was only allowed to take one Young Living supplement or oil, it would be Ningxia Red. There's also a link to people's testimonies in that link I gave you guys about their feelings on Ningxia Red. So, and these are the 2 supplements, Comfort Tone and Detox Zyme. And you take these 30 or 60, one of each, 30 or 60 minutes before you take the fabulous Balance Complete. You can do the Balance Complete with water or with a nut milk, like almond or coconut. There's instructions on here. Okay, so don't freak out. Plus, we're here to support you. And then I consider this dessert. So after you're done with your shake, you get 2 to 4 ounces of the Ningxia Red. And so, like I said, Monday morning, December 6th, you pop in an enzyme and you pop in the Comfort Tone. You wait 30 to 60 minutes and you do a protein shake. And then right after that, you get to enjoy the Ningxia Red. And we do that 3 times a day. And actually, you know what? It's really quite freeing because you're like, well, I've got to take these supplements 30 to 60 minutes before. Well, when do I need to eat? Well, I'm going to eat at noon, so I need to take that by 11. And it's like, you know, you're going to eat at noon, you need to take the supplements at 11 or 11:30. And it's actually quite freeing because you don't have to think, what am I going to have for lunch? When am I going to eat? You know, it's like set in stone for you. At least that was my experience. I really appreciated that. So again, the link has the information about the cleanse. Obviously, Debbie and I are here to support you. And then it also has a link to those products. Now, I want to point out, there's another product that is mentioned when you go to the products is Nitro. Nitro is part of the Ningxia Red line, and you can do 2 of these a day. So if you're someone who does coffee like me, they discourage caffeine on this cleanse. So what I would encourage you to do is a few days before the 6th is start drinking less caffeine until you get to the 6th, because otherwise don't go cold turkey because you'll have those, you know what I'm talking about, those caffeine withdrawal headaches. Don't do that to yourself. But if you also just need a little bit of like an energy boost or a caffeine boost, you can do 2 of these a day. And so that's why I wanted to add those into that bundle, because Nitro is vital. Plus, it's great for cognitive support. So if you're also thinking, gosh, how am I going to be able to work while I'm doing this cleanse? Obviously, with your Ningxia Red and your Nitro, it definitely helps with the mental aspect of it. And keep in mind, this is a very gentle cleanse. You can go to work. It's not like you need to stay near a restroom. You can go to work. It is very gentle. Can you work out? Again, this is all in that guide, that how-to guide I'm giving you. Can you work out? Like walking and stretching, that's encouraged. heavy lifting or running, you may not want to do that. So just be mindful of that. And in all of that, feel free to consult with your medical professional just to run that by them if you do have some concerns, because the cleanse is really geared for people who are healthy and are just to complement their healthy lifestyle. Now, I do want to point out something. I hope Debbie doesn't mind me mentioning this. She alluded to it a little bit, but I will just say this. Both her and I are recovering from some brain injury. And so we are going to do this cleanse. I did one this summer, and I actually had to incorporate a meal with this cleanse because I wasn't getting enough energy, and I could tell how it was affecting me. And so even with incorporating a meal of like a salad, I still did lose some weight, and it did, I'm sure it didn't do the cleansing it could have done, but I wasn't in it for just that. I was in it for, I wanted to start cleansing some of the residuals of some of the prescriptions and some of the over-counter pain drugs I had been on, start flushing that out of my body. So realizing that this is a guideline, and it is a great guideline. It is taken from the brochure that Young Living produced, but also listen to your body. Just listen to your body on that as well. I just want to encourage you to do that, because Debbie and I will be honoring the cleanse. But if it's like we don't feel like we have enough energy, I'm speaking for myself, I will for sure make myself a salad or a couple eggs or something, because you've got to take care of you as well. So that's just my little PSA, because just where we're at energy wise. So with that, I'm going to end the recorded version of this class. I will make sure all the resources are available to anyone who's watching this class, and realizing that feel free to reach out to me if you have questions or concerns. So thank you very much. For the rest of you, stay on for just a minute.